No, sorry about that.
Bismillah walhamdulillah wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Amma ba'd. Tonight on the 29th of Muharram in the year 1442, corresponding to the 16th of September in the year 2020, we are in Al-Wajeez, the concise presentation of the fiqh, in the chapter of business transactions under the subchapter items that one is prohibited to sell on page 465. Number 1, alcohol. Aisha radiallahu anha said, when the last verses of Surah Al-Baqarah were revealed, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam went out and said, trade in alcohol has been forbidden.
Right, so alcohol, with all types of alcohol, anything that would intoxicant drink, we said it's haram, not because it is impure in its essence. Remember that. Scholars differ whether it's impure or pure. We believe it is pure. Alcohol is pure, so if it touches you, you don't have to wash it. But the impurity of it is not the impurity of the essence, but the impurity of the, which we call it, the religious one, not the materialistic one. So, like for example, when we say the Prophet, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, إِنَّمَا الْمُشْرِكُونَ نَجَسٌ, Surah At-Tawbah. Verily the kuffar, the mushrikun, are najas, impure. What does that mean? I can't touch the kafir, or if I touch him, I go wash my hands. No, it doesn't mean that. So the impurity here is the impurity of the heart of these people. The same thing here with the khamr. The impurity of it when you drink. When you drink, it's haram. So it is not haram because of its impurity. No, we believe it is pure. The alcohol itself is pure. Now, does it mean I could use it for something else? No, we can't use it. Why? It's not because of this hadith, because of the Prophet ﷺ said in another hadith that the intoxicant drinks, we can't use the alcohol, anything which is 10 cursed because of drinking alcohol, 10 cursed, 10 things cursed with the alcohol. And also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, فَجْتَنِبُوهُ, keep away from it. I cannot sit on a table where alcohol is served. So, number 2.
Number 2, carrion, swine, and idols.
Carrion, swine, and idols, without mentioning the hadith, we know that the carrion is haram by the verse of the Quran, حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَيْتَةِ, and it is haram in its impurity. So it is impure. It's actually, the carrion is impure. And not every word in that verse, in Surah Al-Ma'idah, إِنَّمَا حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَيْتَةُ, that these are impure. No, some of them are pure, some of them are impure. I'll give you an example. حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَيْتَةُ وَالدَّمُ. حُرِّمَتْ عَلَيْكُمُ الْمَيْتَةُ وَالدَّمُ. Mayta is the carrion, dead animals, which is impure. As for the dam, the blood, there is no proof for its impurity. Why it's the impurity of the animal is the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. So the dead animal, najis, impure. Okay, so the Prophet ﷺ, he called, for example, he used to cook the donkeys and all of that. He said it's dead animals. It's 2. Last word.
Number 2, carrion, swine, and idols.
Right, okay. Sorry about that. It's just keep pretending items, bring in items. Allah musta'an. Yeah, we are on to the carrion, and we just said all of them are to be, here is the Maita, the dead animal, is impure, and also the pig, khinzir, is impure, and also the idols. The impurity of them is not touching them, but it's impure. Right. So these are to be haram to be sold or purchased. So the idols. I don't know if you've seen a video clip of a woman in Bahrain. She had pulled down some of the statues that belongs to the Hindus, which is being sold in a Muslim country. Now, I'm not really with this issue that she had made somebody to go and film her while she's dropping these down. That's not correct. She wants to drop it down quietly. Why want to put it in the internet and then you're going to bring us headache? And then the government will be under the pressure of the international law to protect the ethnicity of certain people. So you don't need, when you do something like this, you need to do it in a way that you don't really need to have fame, Allah Mustaan. But when I'm quoting this, I'm just saying, having a shop to sell these things, the person is selling them. If he's a Muslim, he's in danger of being a kafir. But even though that his sale is forbidden, it's invalid, it's not permissible. It's not permissible. And even the companions asked for this carrion fat to use it for the ship. He said, no, it is haram. Here is haram is not to use the fat for the sake of painting the ship, blocking the holes for the water not to go inside the boat. Okay, it is haram to buy or sell. Remember that, because the Prophet said Allah had cursed the Jews because when he forbade for them the fat, okay, they melted it and then they sold it and then they have eaten the price of it, the value of it. So they've used the value of it. And Allah Azza wa Jal, if he prohibits something, he will prohibit its money, the purchase of it. Now, so we said, using for example, if you found a dead animal and you started, for example, putting it in the land for fertilization, it's no problem. Problem is to buy it. What about, what's that word when they used, subhanAllah, anybody would help me with that word, when they use the urine of the horses for fertilization? Call it morning urine.
Manure.
Manure, that's the one, manuring. So when I came to this area during the summer, I smelled horrible smell. So what was that? They said to me, this is manuring the land. So what is manuring? He said they're using the fertilization of the horses. I think they buy these things, don't they? It's not being given to them for free. Yes, yeah, Zahid?
No, it's normally from cows and other animals.
But I said, do they buy it and sell it? I'm asking.
Oh no, I'm not sure if they buy it or sell it, but normally the farmers, you can buy it actually. Yes, you can buy it for your home as well.
That's what I'm saying. We'll talk about buying. I'm not talking about drinking it. So we need to understand, because these things can be asked, halal or haram. Okay. So if it is dead animals to fertilization, it's haram. Like we said, we can't buy dead meat for our cat unless it's been given to us for free. So I can't buy, for example, chicken food for the cat because the chicken is not slaughtered, it's gassed and it's dead. So I could buy chicken halal. But if somebody gave me some chicken, things like this for free for my cat, no problem, because the cat will not ask me for halal food, as I said the last time. Now, this manuring, if it is, as Zahid said, it is a cow, okay, and that of the animal, if it is the urine, then it is halal to be sold, because we're going to see that the urine of those animals which are permissible to eat is halal. It's not impure, it's pure. Now, going to the third one, which is the dog. Read, please.
Number 3, dogs. Abu Mas'ud al-Ansari said, narrated that the Messenger of Allah prohibited the price of a dog, the wages of a prostitute, and the earnings of a soothsayer.
So 3 things here have been prohibited in this hadith. Number 1, the purchase of the dog that you earn the money by selling it. And the price that you give to the, what is that you said, Ismail? Read the hadith again.
Prostitute.
Prostitute. Yeah, I was going to say the harlot. So the money that the prostitute make is haram. And also, what's the third one? The soothsayer, you said something.
The earnings of a soothsayer.
The earning of the soothsayer. Because haram, soothsayer is the one who tells you about the future. And nobody knows about the future except for Allah Azza wa Jal. That's the soothsayer. Because he deals with the shayateen. Now, so the dogs, now you need to understand, am I allowed to keep a dog? And then we'll understand as well the dog in terms of its permissibility to be sold or not. Prophet ﷺ, he said, he who has a dog and kept a dog, except for a dog that is for hunting, or a dog for the sheep, the shepherding dogs, or even another narration, which is a dog for plowing the land, then if he has other than these dogs, then there will be a deduction from his reward, a daily deduction, and that is of 2 qirat. And each qirat is like the mountain of Uhud. I don't know how many hasanat you've accumulated through your lifetime. Could be less than a mountain of Uhud. So if you have this dog for one day, 2 mountains of Uhud of your rewards gone, vanished. And this hadith is sahih. إن اقتنى كلبا إلا كلب صيد أو ماشية فإنه ينقص من أجره كل يوم قيراطان. 2 qirats will be deducted every day from the person who keeps a dog for the sake of other than the purpose of the ones he's mentioned in this hadith: hunting, shepherding, plowing. Also other dogs being mentioned in the hadith, guarding. Okay, this is hunting, guarding, the guard dogs. Because you see, not each dog can guard. Not each dog can hunt. The hunt has to teach it. Not each dog can shepherd. The shepherding dog, you have to teach them to shepherd the dog. Not each dog can plow. Not each dog can be a police dog. Not each dog can be a blind leading dog. These dogs which have manfa'ah, meaning a benefit that is being taught to them, these are being exempted from those dogs that you could keep. So the guarding dog, you keep him outside, not on your bed. He's going to guard your house. The hunting dog, whenever you go and hunt, tell him to go and hunt. When we come as well to the dogs and animals, there's a chapter of animals there. We'll teach you and what are the 3 conditions regarding a dog to be a hunter. Okay, so that is going to be a different. I'm not going to go fly off tangent here and then I miss my target here. So the dogs that can hunt, you could have. So can I buy these dogs and sell? Differs among the scholars. The correct opinion, yes, you can. Once you are able to have it, to keep it, then you're able to, because there's another hadith, which is hadith that our Shaykh Al-Albani authenticates in Sunan al-Nasai. That the Prophet ﷺ, he forbade from the purchase of the dog except a hunting dog. That word, except the hunting dog, is being authenticated by our Shaykh Al-Albani. It's a very important addition. Except for hunting. So because of that exception, anything to do with benefit like hunting, shepherding, police, blind leading, guarding, plowing, all of those benefits, no problem. So let's just now say that all dogs are not allowed to be purchased or to be sold except for the following dogs. Number 1, guarding. Number 2, hunting. Number 3, shepherding. Number 4, the dog for the land, for the plowing the land. Number 5, dogs for particular need, like blind, like police, and all of that, for a particular need. And that's the correct opinion, that these dogs can be sold. Right. Now we come to the 4th one.
Number 4, pictures or statues containing creatures with souls. Sa'id ibn Abu al-Hasan said, I was with Ibn...
Before you go ahead, There's a hadith as well I need to add for the dog. The Prophet ﷺ, he said that a house which got a dog, the angels will not enter. Which angels are we talking about? The angels of mercy, the angels of barakah. The angel of death will enter, and the angel that would write kiram and katibin, they will as well be there with you. We're talking about the angels of mercy, they're not going to come in. Now,
Number 4, pictures or statues containing creatures with souls. Sa'id ibn Abu al-Hasan said, I was with Ibn Abbas when a man came and said, O Ibn Abbas, I earn my living from what I make with my hands. I make these pictures. Ibn Abbas said, I will only tell you what I heard from the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. I heard him say, whoever makes pictures will be punished by Allah until he blows a soul into it, and he will never be able to blow a soul into it. The man sighed and his face turned pale. Ibn Abbas said, what a pity. If you insist on doing such work, then make things like this tree. That is, everything that does not contain a soul.
right. So the images like of dogs, animals, dogs of a human being, that it contains an image of something like this, is not allowed to be sold. So what about the images of nothing got soul in it, like an image of a laptop, an image of a tree being, okay, can it be sold? Yes, that's understood, but without extravagance. If extravagance is there, it's not allowed. Okay, without extravagance. What do I mean by extravagance? Back in the 1990s, maybe in 80s, I remember, in the 80s, there was a paint which is being sold, and it's called Kiss. I remember the word Kiss 2. It was Kiss 1, Kiss 2. It was sold for 2 million. Frame contains a painted picture, image. You look at it, you don't understand it. You know, I don't know what it is. What does it represent? Somebody just bought it for 2 million. It's got so much money. These people are after what? The shayateen. Even the experts who are in paints and all of that, they said this is ridiculous money because there's nothing. It doesn't deserve it. It's just been, to show off. Even the ones who are rubbish people, even they say this is rubbish. So paints like this, I mean, so if you bought, regardless if some people, if you put in their majlis, for example, contains the word of Allah or Muhammad or something like this, and he buys it for ridiculous money, it's not allowed. So if it's a paint, got no image, allowed to be purchased and to be sold as long as there is no extravagance. Right, now.
Number 5, dates before they become ripe. Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu anhu narrated that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade the sale of dates until their ripeness had become apparent, and the sale of date palms before their ripeness was clear. It was asked, what is its ripeness? He replied, when they become red or yellow. He also narrated that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade the sale of fruits until they ripened. He was asked, what is its ripeness? He said, until they become red. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, don't you see that if Allah keeps the fruits from ripening, how will you take the money from your brother?
Meaning, now let's just talk about it, if this hadith, and explain as well more about it. So the Prophet ﷺ is saying that how can you sell somebody fruit on a tree which is not ripened for it to be consumed? And explain this, he's saying that how can you take the money of your brother, okay, to make it lawful, to take your money, brother, for what? Now the scholars had said of 3 opinions regarding this issue, regarding this type of sale. So if the fruit hasn't been shown the color of its being ripened, like yellow or red, then purchasing it is either of 3 possibilities. Possibility number one, that the purchaser, he says to the buyer, to the seller, the purchaser says to the seller, that I will purchase it from you for this price, and I will take it when it is ripened. Okay? I will take it when it's ripened. So I'll purchase it now before it's ripened, but I will not take it unless it is ripened. The scholar, they said, this is haram. It's not allowed. And this is almost consensus because of this hadith and because it is gharar here. So normally it is the case when the seller sells the fruit before it has been ripened, he would sell it much cheaper when it is ripened because he's in need of money. And also that person is going to be, the purchaser going to be paying less, but until he receives it, he says, okay. Now, when he receives it, it could be ripened, and then he'd be a winner. And it could be not ripened. Something had happened because usually the defects, the worms and all of that goes to the fruit before it's been ripened. It will show. So let's say that this is being damaged and ruined. So the purchaser will be a loser. So this condition is haram. Second type of purchase is that I wanted to buy it, he says, for no consumption. It's just because I want it. What do you do with it? I want to throw it. I want to, I don't know, I want to pile it up to make it like a roof or a bed or something like this. Normally it is very rare to be happen. That's why the scholar didn't talk about it. That type of transaction is halal. It's not buying it for the fruit to eat. He's buying it like a piece of item. So we normally would buy it for a cheap price, or that person would be selling it as well for a price that, you know, for that thing. Cheap price, maybe cheaper, not maybe cheaper, but he says he wanted like that. He could be buying it for the full price. So that is, I said, rare. And the scholars, they don't really talk about rare. Rare is, you know, nobody would buy the dates for the sake of, you know, as I said, put them as a pillow. Third type, which is that you purchase it before it has been ripened without a condition. I'll purchase it now, whether it's going to be full, whether it's going to be ruined by the weather or something. You know, cold can come and ruin the whole thing. Okay, that is where the scholars differed, and the correct opinion is haram. The Ahnaf, it says halal. Hanafi madhab, it says it's halal, but the correct opinion is it is haram because it's under the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. How can you take the money of your brother which is not lawful to you? Okay, so because you could pay money to him and then he, end of the day, receives nothing. There's no fruits there. The birds taking them, all of them. The locusts came and harvested them. Now,
Number 6, crops before grains become husked. Ibn Umar narrated that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam forbade the sale of date palms until they repined, and the sale of ears of corn until they were white and free from diseases. He forbade that for both the buyer and the seller.
Right. This is the same thing as the number 5. Exactly the same thing. Can I add now? Prophet ﷺ, he had said, he forbade, again in this hadith, he said that he had forbade from selling or buying the palm trees, which is the palm tree that produces dates, until you could eat from it, or until that it can be weighed. So that means it can be weighed. That's the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The poor people, you know, they get zakah from the palm trees, and the palm trees, the mayor of the Khalifa, they would send somebody to estimate, predict, call it khars. how much on that palm, tree is got before it is being, ripened. Because some of them, some of the dates you could take them yellow, some of them like them yellow. Before they go yellow, they would be red. It's red and then yellow. Okay. Some of them even like them before they've been ripened. So this person, he would look at them and he would say, for example, such and such. And this is to give the zakat as early as possible for the poor people. So it's called khars. So this person will come and estimate how much kilos will come out of that, and then he will give the zakat out of this, which is it is 1/. It depends upon if it's rain, it's been or been irrigated. If it's irrigated, then 5%, and if it is being from the rain, then it's 10%. That's the zakah on that. That is, of course, if it reaches the nisab of the dates and all the crops is to be 600, almost 600 kilograms every harvest. Number 7, which is not allowed to be sold, is the cat, sinnaur. And actually, this is in contradiction to all the madhahib. The madhahib, Hanafi, Maliki, Shafi'i, and Hanbali, they say it is allowed, but they're wrong. And Ibn al-Qayyim said, and Ibn Hazm had said, Shaykh al-Islam Taymiyyah had said, that because of the hadith is there. The hadith is there. Is it true that we could have a 4 madhahib wrong and 1 is correct? Yes. And I think if one of you know that if somebody had divorced his wife, okay, 1, 2, 3, 1 go like 1, I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you. Okay. According to all the madhahib, your wife is divorced completely. She can't go back to you until she marries somebody else. And then if that person dies or divorces her, then you could go back to her. But we don't rule with this. We rule with the madhab of Ibn Taymiyyah, because Ibn Taymiyyah referred it back to the Prophet ﷺ. The 4 madhab were judging by the madhab of, or the rule of Umar al-Khattab. So when I say that all the madhab, they say it is allowed to sell the cat, it doesn't mean it's allowed. We have to look at the hadith. And the hadith, which is in Sahih Imam Muslim, so it's authentic. Abu Zubayr, he asked Jabir ibn Abdullah about the purchase of the dog and the purchase of the cat. Two together being mentioned, cat and the dog. He said the Prophet ﷺ zajara, forbade. Zajara an dhalik. He forbade that completely. And also the Prophet ﷺ in another hadith, naha an thaman. He had forbade the purchase of the dog or the purchase of the cat. طيب, can we make an exception like the dog? Because first of all, the dog I'm not allowed to keep unless it's got a reason. As we said, he's a dog of the hunting, the dog of the guarding, and so on and so forth. But the cat we can keep. Prophet ﷺ said, "Innahunna min at-tawafina alaykum wat-tawafat." They are from the one who mix and mingle with you. They mix and mingle with you. Even what remains from the cats when she drinks water is pure. So hirra tahir. So if she drinks from a pot or a bowl and you use it, it is pure. It's not impure. Subhanallah. So the cat, we're allowed to mix and mingle with it, keep it as well. But selling it and buying it is not allowed because of this hadith. If there was the hadith, it was not there, we would sell it and buy it. Now, somebody might say, was there an exception, for example, because of the dog? There is a hadith not to sell and buy, but we are allowing to sell hunting dog, the guarding dog, the shepherd dog, the police dog. Why can't we sell the hunting cat, hunt mices? I'm buying the cat for the benefit of the mice. We say that, first of all, the cat, okay, is being mentioned in general. You're not allowed to purchase the cat. That's the first answer. Was the dog, Prophet ﷺ said, forbade the purchase of the dog except for the hunting dog. There's an exception there. Hadith is authentic. That's number one. So we say the cat, we got no exception. It's not allowed to purchase. Number two, in terms of exception, because of the benefit that is a hunting of the mice is chipped into the dog. If you understand what that means, that means it's natural. It's from Allah Azza wa Jal. Any cat born in England or born in Pakistan or born in Arab land, they are born with this instinct of going for mice. Yes, maybe the difference is maybe the cats here are so fat they don't really bother to eat the mice because they've got better food, but they will kill the mice. At least they will keep playing with it until kill it. So they're all of them after mice. So we know such thing that I've trained my cat to hunt the mice. So the cat is not allowed to be purchased. So how can I get a cat then? Lots of orphan cats in the orphanage if you wish. And somebody can give it as a gift for you. I have a cat. Somebody, brother, gave it to me. He's got the mother and the father and everybody. MashaAllah. And if you want cats as well, he's got plenty of cats. So I could give it to you. So how can I feed the cat? Feed the cat with a fish. I like the brother, MashaAllah. After listening to my lecture, he's got big sacks of fish, dry fish food. MashaAllah. And he buys it from the internet, online, cheap. طيب. Number 7 now. Number 8. Number 8 is all what is being forbidden to eat. Where we said all what is forbidden to eat, you're not allowed to sell. What is forbidden to eat? So what about donkeys and mules and horses? You could eat it. Elephants. Now we're going to add to this. Everything that is not cannot be haram to be eaten, not to be sold or purchased. But at the same time, we say that whatever is being sold for other than the purpose of what is being forbidden for, I'm saying this, that if it's being sold for other than the purpose for which that purpose made it haram to be sold. What is the purpose that is for selling the donkey? If you're selling it for somebody to eat it, it's haram. But if you're selling that donkey for the purpose of something which is beneficial, riding, using it like a mount, halal. Mule, halal, because you ride it, you plow the land with it. Also, you use a donkey for plowing as well the land, for carrying things. Donkeys are very expensive in our countries. It's like a car. Even if you kill a donkey on the road, oh my God, you'll be in trouble. You better kill a human being than killing a donkey. You'll be in trouble. I'm telling you this and this and this and how many of this the donkey is feeding my family, and this donkey, I have to keep a lot of money to give me for that. Because I know my friend, he had killed a donkey, knocked it with a car, I crashed it. And he, subhanAllah, he was in trouble for a long time. He has to pay, that wasn't really hefty money, but he was just mourning this guy. Elephants, what's the purpose? To fight. It's a very good fighter, the elephant. To ride. You ask the Indian people, they use it a lot. So fighting, riding. Okay. Coming now to other things. What about cheetah? Cheetahs are used sometimes for hunting. Lions. If the lions, you can use it to hunt. Okay. You could use it for guarding, no problem. But I don't think the government will allow you to have a lion, guarding your house outside. It's not allowed. So who is the ones who are keeping these things like tigers and lions? The zoos. Or somebody wants to be famous. Ya akhi, you have to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Any person purchasing a lion or purchasing a tiger, he has to know that these animals, each one of them takes about 20 kilos of meat every day. How are you going to afford that? How can you afford that? It's a fortune. So the ones who are having such a thing, they want to show off. I watched some of the programs of a person called Kevin, and he's got a big land there in Africa, and he's known to be a lion man, the lion man. Kevin, I think his name. And I think he's British. Allahu A'lam. And in there that he had just said, and I was listening to what he's saying, how much money they need. Even with him as being rich and other people pledging and all of that, he's still struggling until he made his own YouTube channels and he's got millions of subscribers, which, and because of the adverts they pay. But they need a lot of money. So why do you want to have a lion? Unless if it's a purpose, there's something a purpose for it. For example, you are breeding lions for the sake of putting them in the army to scare the enemies. No problem. Elephants, sorry, tigers, no problem. Elephants are known to be, useful. You could ride on them. So if you are using it for the sake of riding, for the sake of fighting, for the sake of guarding, for the sake of hunting, if you could teach them, because the lion is called dog as well. In the hadith, it's called the dog. Or anything which is permissible, then you could allow to have them, then you're allowed to buy them and sell them. Now the question is it permissible to hunt them or buy them for the sake of their skin? We're not allowed to hunt an animal for the sake of their skin, unless it's a necessity. A necessity that means I don't have any clothes and I'm cold and I need to kill the animal to have its fur, something else. So we're not allowed to hunt the animals for the sake of using the skin of it. If it's a dead animal, already dead, yes. Can I use the skin? Because we said the maita is najis, impure. And then we come to another proof that it is impure. So how can I use the skin? The skin is impure. Yes, because the Prophet ﷺ said, أَيُّمَا إِهَابٍ دُبِغَ فَقَدْ طَهُرْ. Any skin that has been tanned, then it's became pure. So it became pure. It was what before? Impure. So the dead animals are impure. So if you can tan the skin, and they tan it, they treat it. Tanning means like salting it and cleaning it and putting it in the sun. Okay, then you're allowed to use it, whether it's a lion or a tiger or any type of skin, even pig skin. The carrion is impure and the pig is impure, the same impurity. I'm allowed. So that's an answer for those people who've I got shoes made of pig skin. Doesn't matter. We don't want to start now buying shoes and read the ingredients. What is it made of? Ingredients of the shoe. You're not going to eat it, brother. So any shoe, regardless whether it's made of crocodile, any pigs, dogs, because it's been tanned. It's already been polished and tanned and treated and all of that. Regardless of what type of skin, whether it is a coat, whether it is a purse, whether it is a shoe, okay? No problem. So ayyuma ihab, any type of skin is being tanned, then it became clean. So I'm allowed to use it. Okay. So if I'm allowed to use it, I'm allowed to sell it. So if I tanned it, I'm allowed to sell that skin, and which is made into a shoe or whatever. Also, what is being exempted from the dead animal, okay, the bones. They use it at the time of the Prophet of Allah as combs. So the bones, because they are dry things, bones, a dry thing. So if you could put it outside and clean it and all of that and tan it, that means the bone is allowed without tanning. As long as you just clean it and take the skin out of it and all of that, that bone is allowed. You could use it for, if you could use it for example, combs or whatever, or digging tools. طيب. Now, the drying regarding the animal's skin, scholars differed regarding, is it halal to buy it in terms of not because if it is impure or not. And there is a long of difference among the scholars. They say, for example, that we are trying, if you're trying to imitate the kuffar, when they put, like, for example, the fur of the bear. Okay. And also there is extravagance and arrogance. If those three are not there, no problem. And I know for a fact now these days, you know, some of the skins like of the tiger and all of this and animals, you know, the leather skin and all of this, they became cheap, so cheap in the market. Silk became so cheap in the market. It's not like before. So there is no a imitation of the kuffar. There is no extravagance and there is no arrogance, pride. There's no problem, inshallah. Right, we're going to add now, before we're going to finish, before we're going to leave the following chapter of it, we're going to add to the prohibited as well things, which is not because of their essence, it's because of their place. And that is, we call it prohibited things because of something else. It's not because of itself. Number one, to sell and buy during the adhan of the Jumu'ah. So during the adhan of Jumu'ah, when the second adhan, if it was supposed to be one adhan, but let's say 1, 2 adhans, second adhan, when the khatib goes up on the pulpit, the bay' and selling is haram, because يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نودي للصلاة من يوم الجمعة فاسعوا إلى ذكر الله وذروا البيع. Allah says, if, or you believe, if the call of the Jumu'ah has been called, then come to the dhikr, the salah, come to the khutbah. وذروا البيع. So the forbidden, that means prohibit, stop selling, stop buying. And this prohibition start from the khutbah, not just from the salah. Because Allah called it a dhikr. And here dhikr means the khutbah plus the salah. So here there's a command to abandon selling and buying. And the scholars, they didn't differ regarding this issue. This is haram. Now, it is haram, okay, upon those whom the Jumu'ah is compulsory upon. Because I know for a fact, lots of people, they have shops, Muslims, they're asking, okay, am I allowed to leave the kafir person who works for me to sell and buy when I'm going? That's a question. Because he wants to buy and sell, he doesn't want to, you know. If you are a Muslim and the one who you left to sell and buy is a Muslim, even if he doesn't pray the Jumu'ah, it's haram to leave your shop open. You have to close it. But if he's not a Muslim, or he's a Muslim but is not required to come to the Jumu'ah, how? Maybe he's a traveler, or maybe she's your wife. The women are not, compulsory upon them to go and join the Jumu'ah. Now, so from the selling end, if he's a kafir, if he's a person, a Muslim, a male or a female who's got an excuse, like a traveler, or an ill person, is not Jumu'ah is not on him, but he could stay in the shop. Or a third, which is the women, female, they're allowed, then it is halal for them to keep the shop open. That's from the selling end. But from the purchasing end, these three categories are not allowed to sell somebody whom the Jumu'ah is compulsory upon him. So the woman, if she wants to sell, she sells for women, or for disbelievers, or for believers, but the Jumu'ah is not compulsory upon them. How can she distinguish now? She will tell, if it's a woman, khalas. A person is a kafir, known as kafir, khalas. But if he knows this person is a Muslim, I can't sell him. You have to go to the Jumu'ah. I'm a traveler. Yeah, I'll sell you now. Okay? So that's from the purchasing end and from the selling end. Now, also, it is haram if the person who's selling and buying, he knows it is haram. If he doesn't know, then his sale is halal. He didn't know. Also, that there is no necessity in that sale. So for example, the adhan is being called, Khatib is on, he wanted to lock the shop. This person said, brother, sell me food. He's selling a restaurant, give me food. It's Jumu'ah. He said, I'm dying, brother. I want to have food to go to the Jumu'ah. Okay, I'll sell him. So this is Bay'ul Muttar. You're being cornered to sell because it's been necessity. No problem. But any sell before the adhan is no problem. So even 1 minute before the adhan is no problem. Any sale after the prayer is finished is no problem, inshallah. So the woman who's been left in the shop, she could sell now even to the Muslims who are supposed to come to the Jumu'ah, but the Jumu'ah is finished. No problem. You know, these things are very important, because if I want to go like, as well, the madhahib goes, this is very important issue that is involved. Like, for example, they said that this sale, is it prohibited or also false? Because not a prohibited sale, it means false. Meaning that it is prohibited, but the sale is gone, khalas. Each one will take his item. Okay? But if it's false, that means this invalid sale. And the Bay' al-Jumu'ah is invalid. Not just haram, it's invalid. So anything that is being made in that transaction, and one of you knew, and then I could go to the buyer, please, brother, cancel the transaction. And you could go even to the Muslim government and they will invalidate that transaction. So they ask now, somebody had bought water from somebody who's selling water after the second adhan, after the adhan of the Jumu'ah. Okay, he bought the water from that person. Okay, it's haram for him to buy, but he's compelled. He wants water. Why? Because he wants to make wudu with it. And the other person is a Muslim, is not supposed to sell him. He sold him the water to make the wudu. Now this is invalid sale. Can he make wudu or not? Big difference among the scholars. It's allowed to make wudu with that water. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Second thing which is not prohibited, not because of the item itself, it's because of these circumstances, to sell and buy in the masjid. In the masjid, we're not allowed to go and say, anybody want to buy this and want to buy, how much is this? I'm not allowed. So what about this masajid who have these little booklets, Islamic booklets outside? They were selling it. Okay, they're selling it, for example, in the corridor of the masjid. Okay, now, first of all, what is prohibited is in the masjid. Whatever the Al-Waqif, the one who made the masjid, he said that this is a masjid, because we know we have masjid now, we've got kitchen in the masjid, we've got playing rooms in the masjid. So if they said this is the musalla of the masjid, then this is the musalla where it is not allowed, whereas the rest you can sell and buy. That's number one. Number two, let's say that the owner of the masjid, he said even the musalla and the corridors is part of the masjid. I'm not allowed to sell and buy in the corridors unless this sale is, number one, beneficial, and number two, we call it Bay'ul Khursan, the selling of people who are deaf and dumb. That means without talking. So for example, you got booklets and the price is on them, and there's a box. So you put the money in the box and take it. There's nobody to buy and sell. You just take it. Bay'ul Khursan. That is allowed. Because what is the idea behind not allowing the purchase and the selling in the masjid is the noise. How much is this and how much is that? When you find a person doing this, Prophet ﷺ commands us to say to him, La arbah Allahu tijaratak. May Allah make your business unprofitable. You make a loss in that business, in that selling and buying. La arbah Allahu tijaratak. So we're not allowed to purchase we're not allowed even to call for lost property. But we're allowed to make lost property silently. How? Hang a piece of paper and you say, we found such and such. If you want it, then come to the office. That's silent one. But to come outside, well, did you find this and did you find that? It's not for this. Masajid is not made for this. No. From the other sins as well, it's not allowed to buy or sell, to sell weapons in the time of fitna. What is fitna? Between Muslims. There's a fight between the Muslims. Somebody goes, can I buy a machine gun? Can I buy a machete? Can I buy? If I know that this is going to be used in the fitna between the Muslims, I'm not allowed to sell it. Or it's going to be purchased by the enemies of us to use it against us, I'm not allowed to sell it. وَتَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْبِرِّ وَالتَّقْوَى وَلَا تَعَاوَنُوا عَلَى الْإِثْمِ وَالْعُدْوَانِ. I'm not allowed to buy as well sell grapes to the person whom I know is going to use it for wine. I'm not allowed to do that. طيب. Alhamdulillah, by this we'll finish, inshallah. Start next week, we'll talk about Bay'ul Khayar. And that translation in which, Ismail?
Options.
I can't hear you online.
Options.
What did he say, Ahmed? You're not loud. I don't know when my speaker is.
I think he said options or auction.
Yeah, option. Is it options? Yes, Mike. Can you just speak close to the microphone, Yash?
Options.
Yeah, that's better. Options, yes. Jazakallah khair. طيب. نعم.
Okay, Sheikh, please can you make questions admin one co-host? He lost his internet. And brothers and sisters, if you could raise your hand, priority will be for Aylesbury. So if you can put Aylesbury in your name and raise your hand, we'll identify Aylesbury as the people to ask the first questions. And then chat will be enabled very shortly for the sisters.
Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. Sorry, I wanted to reply, but I couldn't unmute. Chat is open, sisters. You can send your questions through. And the priorities for Aylesbury, I can't remember if Ubaid is Aylesbury or St. Albans, Sheikhana. I think it's St. Albans. Go to Faisal, please.
Priority goes to Aylesbury. There's no St. Albans. Albans, Jumu'ah.
Sheikh, is fundraising allowed in the masjid?
Fund, not fun.
Fund.
Fundraising for the masjid, meaning that people asking money from other people. Prophet ﷺ inside his masjid, he asked for that. He asked for that for twice. Number one, he saw these people who are poor coming and mushtabin nimar, كأنهم من Mudar, tribe of Mudar. Most of them, he was really sickened with this. And then he talked about the sadaqah and the charity of the sadaqah and the virtues of the sadaqah. One companion came and he brought this, that much, and until he got piles, and the Prophet was smiling because of that. So that's fundraising. Also, one day the Prophet he had called for sadaqah. Umar, he said, I'm going to be defeating Abu Bakr. I'm going to win over him. He went and brought half of his money, where Abu Bakr brought all his money. That's fundraising, is no problem. But the fundraising which I've got an issue with is the one which starts boasting and start humiliating the person as well. And you find that you are encouraging people to show off. Okay. So this person stands up. Okay, who's going to be now? I'm going to start with 10,000. Who's going to be 10,000? Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, that brother, such brother, mashallah, stand up. He's 10,000. Mashallah, tabarakallah. And then the guy who comes with who could put his paper, this is pledges. Call it pledges. Pledges, or could be straight away money. I don't know. And then there will be a race. The intention is not to race here for the sake of Allah, for the sake of the eyes of the people other than him. I got the maximum. I've got a problem with that. Prophet he said it openly. Okay. And then when they came, he asked, just to see, he said, asked Umar and Abu Bakr. Ha, Umar. He didn't say to him how much he gave. No. That's irrelevant. How much you left for your family. That's the most important thing. So he said, I left half. Abu Bakr came. How much you left for your family, Abu Bakr? He said, I left them Allah and His Messenger. Now, you have to understand, maybe Umar brought, in terms of money-wise, more than Abu Bakr. But he left half. Let's say he got 100 pounds, he took 50, left 50. And Abu Bakr maybe had 25 pounds. He brought the 25 pounds. Left them nothing, except for Allah and His Messenger. So that's the important thing. So That's why the Prophet of Allah said, 1 dirham had preceded in rewards 100,000 dirham. How? This person has got 2 dirhams. He gave charity for 1 dirham. He gave charity for half of his money. And that person has got an ocean of money. MashaAllah, millions. He took from that ocean 100,000, which is peanuts, kind of coke. And he gave it. Rewardable, but there's not as much as rewardable as the one, that dirham, which is half of the money. So the Prophet, we never asked, how much, ya Abu Bakr? How much is Umar? They're going to bring more. No, how much you left? Half? And he didn't ask him how much he left in terms of money. No, how much he left, as in, he took half, quarter of it, instead of it. That's how it is. Now.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. Sister from Ellsbury wants to know, can we buy and sell Qur'ans? She means the Mus'haf.
Can we buy and sell Quran?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not buying and selling the words of Allah. We're buying and selling the papers itself. The scholars talked about buying and selling the Quran to a kafir person. That was a long time ago. The Quran is available on the internet now. Because they were scared to travel with the Quran to the kafir, and the kafir will start humiliating it. Which is the Muharram, the one who's fighting us. But now it's on the internet. Everybody can get it. That's a very old fatwa now. Yeah, this fatwa is not really workable. Now, yes, you can sell Mus'haf because your Mus'haf is the papers. I'm selling you the papers. Now.
Barakallahu Fik. Sister 11, go ahead.
It's like selling everything. Even the hadith of the Prophet, the books of the deen, all of it is the same. Now.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
What if children are asked in school to draw faces of people or animals?
Again, sister. Again, sister. Again.
Well, what if children are asked...
Sister, that's how it is loud. I don't know what you did now. Keep it like this all the time.
What if children are asked in school to draw faces of animals or people?
That's shayateen. A'udhu billah. How can we make the person looking like an animal? And they put him whiskers and cats and all of that. Something on his nose. That's not a game. That's imitation of what the people, the disbelievers, are doing. No, we're not allowed. Allah Azza wa Jalla, He said, وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. And we have honored the son of Adam. These people are humiliating the son of Adam. I'm making myself a cat. No wonder why we have another person who had made himself a proper cat. And he died, by the way. He went to the doctors and he had doctors. And he had blue, he had, this is like popping out. His whiskers, proper whiskers. And he made a tail for himself. SubhanAllah. He must have been studying in these schools. Now.
Sister, was that your question? Can you just confirm, please?
No, it wasn't. I think I didn't put it across clearly. You know, you said that you shouldn't draw pictures of things that have souls in them because on the Day of Judgment, Allah will ask you to give it life. What about in schools?
Okay. What about in school to draw it? Any pictures which has got images is haram of the soul. They could draw cars, houses, trees, books, laptops, cameras, mobiles, but they can't draw anything to do with animals showing the head of it. They could draw the animal without a head. No problem. Draw the human being without a head. So you could draw it from here and downwards. But once you put the head with the figures in it, the eyes and the nose and the mouth, that's haram.
Barakallahu Fik, Sheikh. A sister wants to know, if she works in a supermarket checkout, is she allowed to touch the alcohol bottles for the customers that are buying it?
We tell that sister, inshallah, to have taqwa of Allah Azza wa Jal and leave that position, not to be the cashier in a place where they will be selling haram. She could be in that place, for example, shelving. So if you could be shelving other than the haram, shelving, for example, biscuits, shelving, okay, jams, and okay, shelving vegetables. But to be in the cashier, no. It's the haram is not actually just touching it or not touching it. The haram is just you scanning it without even the machines. You're part of it. So it is absolutely haram, no doubt about that. Keep away from that position, go to another position. And Allah will give you the rizq, inshallah. Naam. Jazakallah for the question.
Ubaid Ellsbury. I didn't know you was Ellsbury. Ubaid, go ahead.
Ubaid, did you put Ellsbury at the beginning? Yeah, Ubaid. Bismillah. He's not muting. Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I could hear you now.
Yes. About the guard dog. I mean, if you, for instance, in Pakistan, we've got animals and all that. And then if you have a guard dog, where do you actually keep him? And where are, you know, for instance, you've got a house and you've got a garden outside, like a wall as well. And can you keep him out there regarding the house and the animals, or does he have to be completely out?
Okay. First of all, why did you put out Aylesbury just now? You put it, or before it was Aylesbury? Because the brother, he was not really.
No. Afterwards, I put it because it wasn't on there.
We said after the brother put Aylesbury, so they could really pick you up. Okay. The dogs for guarding, you put it for guarding where it's supposed to guard. So let's say that you wanted to guard. Let's say that you have living in a house where it is people who you don't like them to be living with you. And you want him to guard your bedroom, so you put him outside your bedroom, even if it's in the corridor. It's my house. Let's be practical now. It's my house. I want to guard my house. I don't care about the garden. So I'll put him just outside my house where the door is. No, I care for my garden. I put him in the garden to guard my house. So I want it for the guarding. But to put him inside with you in the bed and sleep with you in the bed, and you say to me guarding, that's not guarding. These are the dogs for, you know, that's what the people are doing these days. They love their dogs so much more than their husbands and wives. Now.
Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. A sister wants to know if she can teach biology, but she will have to teach the theory of evolution.
If she wants to teach the theory of evolution by saying it is rubbish, go ahead. But if it's going to teach us by saying that it is something that is worth of adopting, of course it's shirk, haram, kufr. So that's the difference between, for example, the person who is studying law. And you know, they're not going to teach you Islamic law, they're going to teach you kuffar law. So if that law is going to be used for the sake of, as Sheikh Ibn Baz said, to protect the Muslims because they are in that, to study that, to protect the Muslim, or to show it is invalidity, no problem. But to use it to judge with it is haram. Now.
Jazakallah khairan. Imran, go ahead, brother.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salam.
I've got a t-shirt, a sports t-shirt with some sponsors on them. So there are sponsors like bank sponsors, insurance sponsors. So my question is it allowed for me to wear this? If not, I'm allowed to sell it to a kafir, or can I give it to charity? Even though a Muslim might wear it if it's from charity.
So sponsors has it got images of a human being and animals, or no?
No, it's just like words. Like it's a bank name, it's an insurance company name.
Okay. If it is things which is promotion or promoting something which is haram, like insurance, I'm not allowed to put it on. So if sponsoring haram, it's not allowed to be put on. So it's number one. Am I allowed to sell this haram to a person who is a kafir? Yes, because they are not haram in itself. They're haram for the usage of it, because it's promoting the insurance. So it's halal. As long as it's got no image. That's why I asked if it's got images or not, because if it's got images, I can't sell it. I cannot sell that image. An image of a human being. Who's saying? Yeah. Image of a human being or image of an animal. If it is halal, it's sponsoring something like a masjid or charity, we say it is halal to put it on, but be careful to pray with it with other people. Okay. So, I mean, you're in front of a person, or you start yourself reading it, you know, it will distract you from the prayer. Wallahi, once I had a person who was praying in front of me, almost made me laugh, because he was in front of me and I was reading, and he's just, the best words of your mom, the best 3 words of your mom, ask your father. Because I know the person is funny. The best words of your mom, ask your father. Ask your father, 3 words. That means always you put the blame on the father. So I took it off and I said, oh, this, he made me laugh almost in the prayer. He put another one and said, I'm on wudu. Allahu musta'an. I said to him, you are on wudu, but it doesn't make you on wudu. This phrase will not make you on wudu. No.
Jazakallah khairan, Sheikh. Anas, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Sheikh, I sell computers and laptops. Now, sometimes I have non-Muslims come to me and say, oh yeah, I will use this for music. Am I allowed to sell that computer laptop to him now that the knowledge has come to me like this? Or is it still permissible? Jazakallah khair.
We always sell the laptops and all of that for the general usage of that item. If the general usage of the item is halal, then it's halal. But if the general usage of that thing is haram, then it's haram. So I'll tell you, selling a TV different from selling a laptop. Person who's buying a laptop, he doesn't want to watch movies. He might watch a movie on it, haram movie, but he wanted the laptop for organizing and stuff. Whereas the TV, absolutely, if you sell it to somebody, is going to be what? For haram usage. So this laptop, you're selling it to a person. Definitely, you know, all these people, regardless of he's told you or not, they can use it for some music. But the usage of the music is the main usage of this laptop? No. So it is halal. But you tell him, by the way, it's haram to listen to music. Tell him that. It's incumbent upon you. Islam, music is the fruit of shaitan. Nah.
Barakallahu feek. Louise, Sister Louise, go ahead. Go ahead, sister. Okay, we'll go to Shaheen, please.
Assalamu alaikum. Louise, a sister or a man?
Louise, this should be a sister's name, Sheikh, I think. It's not Louis.
All right. طيب يا شاهين.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Is there a dua for wearing new shoes?
There is no dua for wearing new shoes, but there is dua for wearing, you know, anything new. البس جديدا وعش حديدا وعش حميدا ومت شهيدا. That's the dua. Somebody wears something new. That means wear something new that you ask, and Allah that makes you all the time wear something new, and live in a prosperity and die as a martyr. Now.
Barakallahu feek. Murad, go ahead, akhi.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Is it fine if I ask two questions?
No, one question.
One at a time, please, Habibi. One at a time.
Okay. I wanted to ask, is it permissible for a woman, like a sister, to go out and earn her living?
Yes, it's permissible for a sister to go out and earn her living. Now, afterwards, Imran or Louise.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. Just relate to my previous question. If you know, we've got Nike, which is, you know, it contains shirk or whatever, are we allowed to sell it to the kuffar then?
No, I'm not allowed to sell Nikes whatsoever or purchase it.
Exactly. Oh, what about charity, Sheikh? Can you give it to charity?
If you already purchased it.
Yes. Yeah.
You already purchased it, you give it to charity. Yes.
Okay. Jazakallah khair.
Yes. Murad ibn Ishaq. We're going to finish, Sheikh. Last question. Oh, Louis is fine. Louis, yalla.
Assalamu alaikum.
Oh, that's a sister. Salam to barakatuh.
Is it permissible for children?
I can't hear you, sister. I can't. Loud, please.
Is it permissible for children to have images on their, like butterflies on their dresses or toys
no images on no images of any soul. So if it's a butterfly showing the head of the butterfly, I mean showing the eyes and the nose and the head, no. But if it's just a butterfly where the head is not showing, it's allowed.
Okay, is that the same with like dollies, like toys with, you know, animal toys with ears, eyes, and nose?
Still, the toys are more even haram because the toys are not creatures made by Allah. The creatures made by Mr. Shaitan, a human being. So they put a toy which has got big nose and stupid eye and A'udhu billah. They're making creatures out of this. It's haram both in both ways. طيب, let's go now to خلاص يا شيخ مراد إسحاق. مراد بن إسحاق.
Sheikh, in the area I'm living, the masjids have put a rule: if anyone has like a symptom of corona, they shouldn't go and attend the masjid. Should this be followed?
What, by the government?
No, the masjid. Like
But
they put
masjid-
it on the wall and they say,
yeah.
they announce, if you have any of these symptoms, don't come to the masjid.
Oh, yeah.
you're
What symptoms like what?
Example, flu and cold. Your
Oh,
breathing
don't
is
come.
not okay.
I'm telling you, don't go. You're gonna terrorize other people. No, go. You can't tell whether it's a. Just keep away from that. And جزاكم الله خيرا سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. يا الله.